nobody's calling out the lies and the filth. Certainly not enough. When you tolerate lies and deception, and you tolerate all this degradation, then you become part of the problem. You do. It's like if you see ants or termites chewing away at your woods, like, the ants are chewing away on my house over there. It's like, well, okay, you notice that the problem is the termites, but if you sit back and you don't do anything and, they completely wreck your house, then you are part of the problem. It's like, you could have taken care of this. You should have spoken up. Well, I didn't want to get involved. I just sat back and let the lies and the deception and the wholesale power-mongering evil fester and grow on me like a cancer. There's some people that die of cancer that didn't have to die of cancer. They don't get a test. They don't want to know. And then it spreads and it's too late, and it's like, okay, you could have gotten tested and you could have taken care of it, cut it out. But instead, you didn't want to know about it. The same sort of spreading cancer is what's going on now. The dude that knows he's got cancer, but he doesn't want to, like, there's some sort of brown spot here on my skin, and I think it's bad, but I don't want to go to the doctor and know about it. Out of sight, out of mind. He lets it fester and grow, and then it's too late. Most of the world seems to be like that guy. They always have been. My eyes are always peeled. I don't know if you know what that phrase means. Your eyes are peeled means you're really paying attention to what the hell's going on. Kind of like a cheetah scanning the landscape. What was that Batman line? Little schemers and their schemes. Plotting and scheming to ruin your life and my life. People need to speak up. If you don't speak up, then you're part of the problem. And that's undeniable. Anyway, have a nice one.
And then we have our own species doing everything it can to prevent us from evolving, growing, rising in knowledge and awareness and consciousness. Beings outside of this realm and our own kind are doing absolutely positively everything that they can to completely manipulate all of us. What I'm claiming is what I see. And as a reasonably intelligent, reasonably logical, critically thinking individual that is just simply putting together the pieces that I'm seeing. They are being manipulated and played like puppets. And nobody seems to notice, just like George Carlin said, nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. And you get people like me or others bringing this stuff up, pointing it out, and very few see this. That which created you to be a manipulated slave. You get all these new agey people, oh, it's all love and light, that want to push you away because they claim you're being negative, because their feeble little minds are too fragile to be able to contemplate the bigger picture, to be able to contemplate the reality of what is truly going on, the reality of it. They need to stay in their little bubble of new agey blissful bullshit. It's their protection mechanism from facing the reality of the construct in which we live. It is extremely easy to conclude the things that I'm saying. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be positive. I'm just trying to share what it is that I'm seeing. I'm not looking for the good. I'm not looking for the bad. I'm not looking for anything except what's there. That's all. No preconceived notion. Because if I'm a god, if I'm a creator, and I wanted my creation to thrive, and something outside of what I created came and began to manipulate my creation, a malignancy or a parasite, if I loved my creation, I would cut the malignancy out. I would kill the parasite.
To begin to ask deeper questions, begin to cause you to ask questions that direct you to the source of the pain, the source of the suffering, the source of all of it.
Now think about this, people. This is what the quote-unquote spiritual masters have told us. This shit is all upside down, and we've been conditioned to believe it's all love and light. We've been conditioned to believe God loves us. We've been conditioned to believe that our suffering is noble and it's beneficial and all this other stuff. We've been conditioned to believe that the suffering is teaching the soul, as if the soul needs to be taught something in the realm of this petty little human experience. We may be born with some interesting capabilities, but everything in this world is designed to shut it off. Therefore, none of us know what we're capable of. I doubt that most people are waking up on the grander scale. They're just seeing the ridiculous of what the government's doing. I don't call that waking up. I call that just using your brain and seeing through the veil that these people have put on your eyes and your mind. It's good that the beginning of that process has started, but they're still all focused on money, 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 money. People who aren't too well awake. And I don't mean that in a critical way. When you start looking, and people don't look at the equations that are here, that are in you and me and this construct and this environment, this reality, when you start looking at the equations and just ask yourself one question: why do they exist in the way that they do in sentient, conscious, aware, critically thinking beings?
This whole business, that the new age, we're just going to slip on into 5D, whatever the hell that means. All we have to do is sit back and take it all in. And it's like, no, I'm here to tell you that's not how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's that element that you just sit on the fence and then just wait for things to develop and have this kind of smug self-assurance that, well, I'm spiritually evolved, I've already attained self-mastery, I've already ascended, so everything around me is Maya and delusion, and I choose not to be a part of it. I opt out. In so many words, that's essentially what they're doing. They become pacified. It's a form of pacification. What I've noticed also is giving a lecture, or I'd be talking in a group of people about some of the more aggressive beings out there, reptilians and other negative beings, keeping the human race in a state of abject misery and submission. This triggers people. The triggering runs the gamut, where they can just either instantly fall asleep, they get agitated, argumentative, hostile, feel a compulsion to get up and smoke a cigarette or get up and leave the room, or something happens. They're not able to take in the message and filter it through their own perceptions and process it and either accept it or set it aside for more consideration and research later. So when they get exposed to this cultural Marxist indoctrination, all that disinformation, all that rage, because it's all about engendering and directing rage in a direction which suits the archontic masters and working through their plantation managers. So I see a similar dynamic to when I used to speak about reptilians, and still do, and people fall asleep or they get agitated or they want to get up and smoke a cigarette. So that tells me there is an archontic demiurge aspect to it too. All the archontic programming, all the communist Marxist indoctrination that they've received, now they've been turned loose on society. They have a voice through social media. So it's even more important for us to be a fish swimming through all this, but it not latching onto our energy field, not latching onto our psyche, and bringing us down to this emotional negative response level, which I see happens with these social justice warrior, Black Lives Matter types all the time. You can't even ask them a simple question or make a simple comment in their presence without them going into a conniption fit.
It's humanity's entrapment. They are obstructions that prevent us from seeing what we need to see in order to proceed. The avatar is going to die. It's going to stop working. Are we any better off as a society, cultures, than we were 5,000 years ago? In my humble opinion, we're not. We're still killing people. People are getting murdered. There's genocide. There is abject poverty, division. The wealth distribution is extremely imbalanced, and things are just getting worse. What we're experiencing is a major contraction. The more intense and more frequent, the closer we are to the birthing point of whatever's next for us. So that's important to understand that that's going on.
Of course, they're all scratching each other's back, all these mainstream spiritual gurus. He's now kissing Russell's ass here.
Into an enemy that is a wonderful stuff. If they can do it.
Yeah, you've got to respect everyone. Never judge anything. Never judge anything that's bad. Just love everyone and just let tyranny run wild. Letting go. Let's talk about this. This one is parroted constantly within the New Age. Just forgive. Just let go. Just ignore things that need to be dealt with. What he's talking about there is feelings coming up and just letting them go. We have feelings and emotions for a reason. They're our indicators in life. So if you feel the emotion of guilt, maybe you need to apologize. If you feel the emotion of anger, maybe there is some unjust situation that you need to act upon. And so what we see within New Age circles is this constant promotion of just let go, just accept, just forgive. And of course, you can see how this plays into a tyrannical regime that wants to control and dominate, because it doesn't want people to get angry. It doesn't want people to feel the emotions, the natural emotions that it's causing in people. So they may, God forbid, act upon them. So this whole wishy-washy, let go, never do anything. Of course, there's things in life in general that we cannot control and we cannot change. They're the things that we need to let go of. The things that we can change, we absolutely must attempt to change. And this is where the deception lies, because it's knowing the wisdom of when to let go and when to actually act upon your emotions. You can't just go through life ignoring your emotions or papering over things that are coming up for you, because you're going to go and you're going to suffer more and more, and it's going to act out in different habits, different behaviours, which is exactly what the New Age agenda wants. Standing down when you're faced with tyranny. What he's talking about is just basically standing down in terms of if there is something or someone that is causing you harm or making you feel bad or abusing, just forgive, just let go, more of the same passive bullshit. They're things that you can't change. You can't change the flow of the traffic. So at that point, that's when it's a good idea to let go. But the general theme with a lot of these New Agers and mainstream New Agers is to just let go of everything. But again, just allowing people to behave how they want to behave. For example, if you were getting beaten by a spouse, you would do something about it. You wouldn't just kind of sit there and internalize it all. And again, we see the same thing playing out with what's happening on a collective scale. We're under attack, and if it was down to Russell Brand and co, we would just sit there, internalize everything, sit back and just allow. And this is the dump in the punch bowl. There are actually bad people out there. There are bad people that are doing bad things in the world. It's not all a projection. It's not all coming from you. Again, the underlying message is that tyrannical people or psychopaths, narcissists, is just a reflection of kind of our inner world, and we shouldn't just do anything to kind of stop them or stand in their way from continuing what they're doing. Sometimes our situation sucks from outside forces. Just blaming yourself again for our current situation of slavery, for example, and just internalizing that and making it all about, your own internal manifestations of things. Again, it's just spiritual bypassing is what he's teaching there. He's basically saying that if politicians and government act like complete arseholes, then it's our fault, okay? It's all down to us, and it's all our projections. Nothing to do with the fact that they're actually psychopaths and they are doing horrible things. It's all our fault. And so what do we need to do? We just need to allow them to carry on doing what they're doing, and we'll just sit under a tree and meditate. Nice one, Russell. We see through your bullshit. If you have thoughts that maybe you need to act upon, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of thoughts that are inorganic. I talk to them, I speak about them a lot on this channel. Entities can interfere, and they have technologies, stuff that I do around sessions. There can be interference, but often we have thoughts for a reason. We're also streaming consciousness as well, and some of those thoughts need to be listened to and need to be acted upon. But what happens, particularly when you question, especially the likes of Muji, anyone that questions what he says, he automatically says that they're stuck in the mind. So the mind and the ego is very much demonized in the New Age. I've said before, we need an ego. We need a healthy ego to operate in this reality. We have to have that. Being stuck in ego is a completely different ballgame altogether. But to just not have an ego would mean that everyone thinks the same, acts the same. There would be no art, there would be no creativity, and we would all be like wet lettuces, like Eckhart Tolle, and the world would be very boring.
No matter how much.
Yeah, never be fucking discontented about everything. Hey, never get discontented about the fact that there's children being trafficked, that there's poison in our food, air, water. Never get discontented about any of that. Never feel any of that. Never feel any of that is wrong. Funny how his YouTube channel never gets deleted or wiped off, or all these big names. They're always still there, aren't they? It's funny that.
In accordance with it forever. The best I can manage is disorientating desire or fear or anger.
Never get angry. That's the other one. Never get angry about anything. There's things in life you need to get angry about. Righteous anger is a hugely powerful energy. Transmutive. This is why the New Age and these pseudo-spiritual teachings are so clever. It's because they mix truth with lies, obfuscation of truth. And the way it's put out there, the way it's paleted on a plate for people is so gentle and soft. And, he comes across, if you have no discernment, as a kind of like a very spiritual, caring kind of guy, but once you engage that discernment, you can see right through him. And it is such a trap, and many people get caught up in it, and which is why I'm going to continue to do these videos, because there are deceptions within deceptions within deceptions within deceptions, and this false religion, this New Age spiritual scene is one of the biggest out there right now. So Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to do some more of these, take our minds off of everything. So I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Today I want to talk about truth. Why is it that many people are not able to see the truth? Truth is real. Truth is eternal. Truth is immutable. And truth exists whether we believe in it or not. But unfortunately, it's popular to now believe that there is no such thing as truth. And that there is your truth and my truth, and that you have the right to believe what you believe, and I have the right to believe what I believe. But this is creating utter chaos. And as a collective, if we really want to grow spiritually, we have to come to understand that truth is a prerequisite for freedom. And if we hold on to mere opinions and beliefs, then we can only ever create chaos. Because true order, true harmony, is always based in truth. So our work as conscious human beings is to refine our perception as close to truth as possible. That they have developed this external structure of security, this bubble of fantasy, the bubble of positive lies that they tell themselves. So they will not admit if there is a real threat happening. So they would rather hold on to a positive lie and believe the media surface narrative of things, because they are too terrified to see the actual reality of things. There's one reason why some people can't see the truth, is because it's far too frightening. Their psyche cannot handle it. Their worldview would totally collapse. They cannot even fathom that such level of evil could exist in this plane. But those of us who understand the psychopathic mindset know that control is the real currency. And what better way to control than through fear is actually our own enslavement. There are many people that they work such hard jobs. Their life is so challenging that when they get home from work, they want nothing more than just to zero out their minds. They do not want to engage in analyzing reality. They're too exhausted. They don't want to know. And the third reason why some people can't see the truth is because of their blinded place of privilege. They have never actually come across injustice in their lives. Somehow they've managed to live their lives in this total fantasy, where they believe that governments are actually elected rightfully so, and the people that are in power are actually caring people, and that the laws that are in place are all justified and moral. And they live in this rosy glassed world where they believe that everything is what people claim it to be. These people are so naive that they don't believe that somebody can lie to them. Well, if that person says it so in the news, it must be so. Well, if this product says there that it's good for me, then it must be good for me. If the doctor tells me to take this pill, then I must take it. Injustice, it doesn't exist for them. You're believing in a fantasy. The reality is actually horrific. Look around. No. I don't want to ruin my happy feeling. I put my blinkers on. No, you are the problem. You are bursting my bubble. Get out of my life. I want to continue in my rosy, perfect world. And then there's the fourth reason why people can't see the truth. Is because they are so heavily brainwashed and conditioned to believe in the state. Statism. When people take whatever the government says or does to their heart with such fierce commitment and belief that it's akin to worship. And so these people feel that if you insult their government, this nameless, faceless entity that they have somehow accepted as their god, that you are insulting them. And then that is blasphemy to ever even consider that the laws that are in place are immoral, or that the president that is standing in the podium is a puppet for a cult of power. But because of this severe conditioning, they will fight for their government until the end, even if it means annihilating all human rights. It doesn't matter, because government is always right. So you see, these isms and beliefs is what is really blocking our ability to see truth as it is. This story of the American dream, or the modern Western dream, this glossy image of the shining city, has lost all glamour. And it's painful. It's so painful for them that instead of using it as an inspiration, that truth is actually so crushing, stuck in a loop of addiction. Many of the people on the street are actually veterans who once believed in government, who gave their every last bit of energy and blood and sweat and tears to defend their country. And when they come back, they realize it was all a lie. It was all illusion. And they are not getting the help they need. They suffer from PTSD. They're not getting the therapy, the help. So they spiral out of society and end up on the streets, used and abused and lied to. So I call on all of you who can see the truth to become the lighthouse, to be the voice for all the generations to come as well. Because what is at stake is the sacred heart of humanity, our very nature. So let's keep speaking the truth and defend our true nature, which is freedom and love.